I'm Rick Short of Rick Short Martial Arts. I'm here today with Brent Longernecker, a friend, best-selling author, coming out with a book called Purpose Positive in the near future. And we're going to talk to him a little bit today about what Purpose Positive is and how it can relate to martial arts and helping people in general in their lives. Brent, how are you doing today?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about your background as an author.
Well, I've been a consultant for 26 years, helping out companies, and I decided a long time ago, Rick, to start writing. I've written probably about 400 articles for magazines and newspapers, but 13 books, technical books, and I've got 4 that I'm working on right now. And I finally decided that as opposed to just technical books, why not start writing some of the things about my experiences? And that's where Purpose Positive comes. It's something to help people other than just a technical book.
What led you to the concept of Purpose Positive?
Well, it's a good question. I noticed as a dad of 5 amazing daughters that a lot of times I always thought that being optimistic and positive was all that it took to basically perform well. And I found that that wasn't true. And so one of the things that I thought about was, okay, why don't we look at it? So I started looking into the science of it. And a lot of things happen to us in our past that no matter how positive you are, you got to get rid of those things first. A lot of times it's fear or unforgiveness. And so as I started to look at that, I started to realize that I could maybe maximize people's ability a little bit better by understanding this whole concept of being purpose, but also positive.
I understand. How did your decision to take martial arts relate to the Purpose Positive concept?
Well, that's a really good question. I was with an amazing lady one night, Kathy Herndon, who you know, and we were talking about things, and I had literally been recovering from 2 surgeries on my bicep, and I was a little frustrated. I'd put on some weight, and I was, at my age, I was starting to get a little frustrated at the fact of where did life go and why wasn't I doing things? And she started talking to me about this, and one of my biggest fears was getting hurt again. And I sat there and I thought, well, you know what? But if you believe in Purpose Positive, why can't you be an example for others? And so that call was made to you by Cassie. And I remember getting really nervous about the fact that maybe she wouldn't find you and maybe that would be fine. We found you, and then maybe I was hoping maybe you wouldn't like me. You did. And then I thought maybe I wouldn't like it, and I did. And so, really martial arts has been a great example of fighting through a fear for me so that I could share it with others.
Don't you agree that a lot of times with kids and adults, fear is the biggest thing? I mean,
Sure.
And the fear of failure.
Sure. And a lot of times it could be a parent like I was early on in my career with my kids where, I wanted them to perform and maybe put a little bit too much pressure. But sometimes just in today's environment, Rick, when you think about it, a lot of times kids don't get credit for the courage it takes just to walk out. And when we did that competition at your dojo and everything, which was really cool, just the fact the kids came to compete, I don't care if they didn't get anything. The fact is, that is admirable. That needs to basically be reinforced. You don't always have to win. And by the way, not everybody does get the trophy, but all people in my mind are winners for even trying.
I agree with that. And we try to incorporate that in our teaching in all of
Absolutely.
Our classes. And sometimes it seems to me that the fear of actually stepping into success too sometimes is a problem. And I think Purpose Positive, as you and I have talked about and everything, helps alleviate some of this. I mean,
you do. Success, all of a sudden you start to, if you're not careful and you start reading your own headlines and everything, you can start getting worried about not losing what you have. And, it's that great Rocky scene. What are we going to lose? And, at the end of the day, we have a life to live. And I think Purpose Positive, what martial arts has done for me is actually exemplified a great life to live and how it basically helps you live it to its fullest.
Well, I love the concept and I love what you've done for it. You're an example of Purpose Positive in your life. How do you think this can help adults and kids in the future?
Well, adults, it's targeting both of them. But, when you think about adults, golly, we go through so much, Rick. And every day we listen to a lot of negative news and things like that, but a lot of us have been hurt. And to the extent that we don't understand the concept of forgiveness, or we're fearful of things, and if you got both of them, there's such roadblocks to you being able to ever get where you need to get. I hope that Purpose Positive and the teachings that it has and tells you about what's going on in your brain will free up those roadblocks so that people can go out and be the people that God intended them to be. For kids, what a great way if we can basically create a pathway for them early on to always know how valuable they are. So no matter when they get hurt or their feelings are upset or somebody says something mean, they are able to dig down into the fact that they've been around people like you and they've been able to be encouraged by others so that they know that they still are great and they can continue to persevere. And I think for kids it's a little bit different, but for adults it has a huge opportunity for them to get back on track.
No, I agree with you. And that's what life's all about. That's what our programs are about. Your books are about. Is to try to help people be the best they can be and step into what God's created them to be.
Well, we only have one life.
Exactly.
So why not live it to its fullest? And why not basically tap down? And Rick, you and I've talked about before, people probably don't even get to 90% of the potential God gave them. So why not sit there and figure out why that is? That's what Purpose Positive is about. And it's been able to show me, working on martial arts and using myself as an example, there were times that you would joke with me and say, Purpose Positive, and I'd sit there and I'd get up off that floor and we'd continue doing it. And you know what? I feel great about it, and I'm glad that you were with me along that journey.
Well, you've been an amazing student, amazing friend, and for those of you that don't know, Brent will be taking the black belt test in February, and this is a big event for our whole school. Brent's put an amazing amount of work into this, and a lot of blood, sweat, maybe even a few tears, and he's just an amazing student, an amazing person. We appreciate what you're doing with Purpose Positive and working with our school, and we look forward to the future. Where do you think that we can take this to?
Well, that's another really good question, Rick. When I think about it, you and I have talked about the fact we can incorporate it into martial arts. We can incorporate it into probably businesses and churches. But even just talking to people, just going out and sharing what we found. I think when people realize how their brain has wired itself and how they don't want to go that way, I think people are going to get a little bit frustrated, and they're going to want to sit there and clean the barnacles off their ship so that journey can start on to where it needs to go. So I think that there's possibility of consultancy, speaking engagements. Prayerfully, the book will do really well. But I think you and I can apply it throughout with all the people that we're presently talking to and touching out there.
Well, again, I appreciate all you've done, Brent. Thank you for your time today. If there's anything that we can do for you, if you'd like more information about Purpose Positive or any of our programs, please feel free to contact us. Our number's on the website, or you can reach us at rickshortmartialarts.com. Thank you.